And we are recording. Welcome to PacWest Bigfoot. This is David, and guess what? Straight from the back west. We've got my friend Jeremy on here today, and he's going to be talking to us a little bit about you guys know that I had a encounter story that I ended up getting from around the Lemolo Lake area. And actually, to tell you the truth, me and my boys go up there just about every other year with it's a father-son camp with our church, and we stay out there near Pool Creek, and so right there by Lemolo on Lemolo Lake, and it's a blast. It's awesome, and apparently, I didn't really know this, but there must be a ton of Bigfoot up there because Jeremy's actually going to share with us quite a bit about some of the things that he has heard and seen and come across, and just some of the things over the years. So welcome, Jeremy.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going.
Nice. So let's see. Let's kind of start with most of your experiences, are they up around that kind of Lemolo Lake area?
I'm not going to say Lemolo Lake per se. I'd probably go even lower into the mountains. Within 30 to 40 miles of the town of Glide, per
Oh,
se.
okay.
This big one though is it's about 20. I'm going to say about 26 miles from the Tokenie Ranger Station, just past the Dry Creek store, up an area known as Twin Lakes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So, you know what? Let's kind of run into just a few incidences of track finds that you've had.
Oh wow. Well, first and foremost, I'm I'm an elk hunter. I'm around elk hunters, and when you're a hunter, especially chasing elk and deer in those areas,
Mhm.
you're not going to pay much attention to a bear track or a giant footprint just because it's not an elk or a deer track. It's kind of where my mindset is. It's where a lot of people I know that's what their mindset is the entire time. Unless they, of course, have a bear tag, they might pay a little more attention to it. But I mean, I don't like bears, so I don't hunt bears. So, as far as that goes, though, I started noticing this area, in particular, Twin Lakes. We started from the bottom and work our way up unit by unit as the week went on. On three different areas in the lower section, after the real muddy areas, the elk wallows, I had noticed some very large tracks. Obviously 5 toes and offset. Left footprint, the big toe was just out of place. And my hunting partner I was with, I kind of pointed, hey, look at that. I said, yeah, that's a idiot with a messed up boot. So I said, no, it's got a bit of a slide to it, and I mean you can tell the big toe actually moved a little bit. I mean, I'm not. There's the spot right there where we saw the apparent obvious tracks going through, and then another spot. There's a very fresh set. Actually kind of across the road there going back towards Calf Creek area. They're going up a bank and they're just kind of side hilling around a corner on the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, probably about 16 and a half inches long. They were huge. And
wow.
Obviously it's probably a 14-inch foot that put them there. But I mean, who in their right mind is going to run around the brush barefoot elk hunting? I mean, you're not going to do that. You're not going to cover a lot of ground barefoot, especially in that country. I mean, there's literally some areas up there you can walk in the brush 30 feet and be standing on the cliff. So that's about it. I mean, I've noticed other impressions, but I mean, like I said, my mind is on those wonderful backstraps, not Bigfoot.
No doubt. So have you ever have any like sounds, things like that up around that area?
Oh gosh, you hear them all the time, and it's easy to dismiss as a Bigfoot, not Bigfoot, but a coyote or a cat or even a bull elk, because people say the rut is over early October. No, the rut's over until the last cow's bred. So I mean, I've heard of bulls bugling up there all the way to November, But again, there's some sounds that just kind of catch you off guard. I mean, I think it was day 4 up there. Me and another partner had gone elk hunting up towards the lake. We kind of pushed our way up towards the main trail, shouldered our rifles, just hiked the main trail out to the lake there, and just checked things out. And I was kind of walking a circle around the lake, and you hear about Ron Moorhead's samurai chatter, and
Yeah.
I could have swore someone tried to yell my name at me out of the brush, and it sounded like it was coming from across the lake. So I'm like, oh, my buddy must be hollering at me, doing something. I go over there, you calling? No. Oh, well, okay then. So, I mean, going into these areas, I'm not a skeptic at all. My thing is, I know they're there. I'll tell you about them, but you're not, my thing is, I don't want people to know they're there. It's a dangerous area to hunt because there's guns going off all over the place. Number one. Number two, it's you don't know what you're going after until you get, until it's too late, in the sense that these things are dangerous. You read into the take, for example, I've noticed a pattern in this, especially if you read very rural police logs in the newspapers. You see stuff, you read stuff all the time. Someone slapped the side of some little old lady's house. Someone was on the roof. Someone was jiggling the door handle. Some really big guy was ran off the property. People aren't reading into this clear enough. I mean, especially in our very own local newspaper. We have. It's stuff that happens all the time. It's the guys, the people from Finding Bigfoot. And, I respect them for,
Yeah.
I respect their cause, but just how did those howls they blare out there? They don't know what they're saying. They don't know if they're sending out some kind of warning call to another one or whatever.
Yeah.
And just because something hasn't come out of it yet doesn't mean it's that's simply it yet.
Yeah. So you've heard some of the kind of garbled voice, I guess you would say, that's kind of samurai chatter. Any screams or whistles or hollers or anything like that you've ever noticed?
Again, you hear it. You spend enough time in the timber, you hear it, and unless it's really close, you just don't pay any attention to it. So
yeah. Has there ever been any time where you've felt really uncomfortable out there? Like,
a lot.
I gotta move.
A lot.
Yeah, tell us a little bit. Give us a couple of those incidences.
Well, especially during the deer seasons, I hunt alone a lot because for some reason, may luck have it, on the times I'm unemployed, I seem to be unemployed during deer season, which is an amazing consequence, but I love it.
That's a good one.
I spend a lot of time. I hunt the woods alone a lot, and I go into a lot of areas alone just because no one else is there, and that's where the deer are going to be. I find the steepest, nastiest canyon, and I head down alone. I'll send my wife a voicemail or something saying this is where I'm at. If I'm not out of here by this time, come looking. But other than that, though, there's been a couple times I've just felt like I've walked right into a wall, and the woods generally don't scare me. It's my happy place. But I can tell you, there's one season I started cutting into spur road, and I just felt intimidated the whole way in. And before I was probably about a quarter mile from the end of it to the landing, and I was in a full panic. I ran. I turned around and started beating feet, and I heard something kind of pushing me along, but I just couldn't. I wasn't going to look for it. I was out of there.
Like it was pacing or walking?
Kind of pacing me, I guess, yeah. I didn't see it, but there was something there. I guess it's just that sixth sense that just kicks you in overdrive, and you just take off.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't
But,
really. We've got lots of mountain lion around here and bear and stuff, but we don't really worry about those things because they're just so skittish about us that they see us, they're gone. They just leave.
Oh. Well, I hear that. I run into bears a lot. Cats, we get them I lived in downtown Roseburg, had one in our backyard. And you know, they
I
don't, they
swear
don't bother
I
me. But
live here in Roseburg now, and I swear I saw one when it had snowed this last time that it snowed. Um, I swear right out of the corner of my eye, man, I just looked and I caught it. It was like this cat just jumped across the back of this driveway over here, and it's
Mhm.
up the road here, so you could just see it. It wasn't a dog. I could tell it wasn't like a, but it was a color of like a golden retriever, and it went so fast. It was just a blur, but I swear it was a cat. I
Mhm.
do.
Yeah, it's possible. Like I said, I mean, any town that has a recorded incident of a city police cruiser running over a mountain lion near a school, you know, that's definitely cat territory. And you know, that actually did happen 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Interesting. So you were kind of mentioning about kind of the missing, like a hunter going missing and things like that.
yep.
Um, Tell me why you think that's a little off, and tell me a little bit
Well,
behind what you heard.
let me kind of back up a little bit here.
Hmm.
We've been having, you know, these guys I was with, they're total skeptics, and I've tried to make mention of Bigfoot to them, but oh no, it's a guy in a suit, and the thing is, I mean, what makes you think there's only one? What makes you think there's only one guy? You know, it was just a big argument all week. So, and you know, we're armed to the teeth. We weren't necessarily worried about anything. I mean, I think the smallest caliber we had in camp was a 300 Win Mag, and then our sidearms. You
Hmm.
know, we had we obviously had, you know, critters walking right through camp. I mean, the night before we left, the one old guy, just a big scary Vietnam veteran that looked like he could just cut loose any second. He was talking about how there was a cow whelk standing right by the tent, poking the tent and sticking her nose in it and chirping at him. I'm like, you either got some really good juice or there's a Sasquatch in camp. And you know, there was a couple dogs in camp that just didn't want to go out the tents at all at
Hmm.
night. So I mean, just these small things kept leading up to us. You know, this day after season ended, we were out of there, and as we were pulling out, group or another group was coming in that camp. We're about a mile and a half from the trailhead that takes you to the lakes itself, and this area is known for big bucks. I mean,
Yeah.
they got huge deer for the area. Well, that they came into camp, and you know, they're from Northern California, and told them we didn't see anything all week, and you know, I'm not gonna tell anyone if I saw 50 of anything, anyways, but um, you know, we just told them, you know, yeah, I told them, yeah, we got a bear running around camp. I wasn't gonna say exactly what it was. There's a bear running around camp, so keep an eye out. We all took off, and they had an older gentleman with them, and by Monday it was on the news that this gentleman gone missing, and he had started his morning hunt up by the trailhead. And the troubling thing about this area is it's just a huge rectangle. To
Yeah.
the east, the road big main road that borders that is going to be Copeland Creek. To the north, you're going to have the Hemlock Road. I guess it's River Extended, goes that direction. 138 to the north of you goes through there, and then Calf Creek and Apple Creek on the west side. You know, and it's just a huge rectangle. It's impossible to get lost in, especially with the amount of people that, you know, covered that ground. And nobody could find a trace of him. And it bothers me because I'm pretty sure I could turn my daughter loose up there and find her. My 7-year-old daughter, I could turn her loose up there and find her. Not
Yeah.
that I would literally do that, but it's, I mean, it's only about, I'd say probably 50 square miles.
Hmm.
You know, and I'm confident that our local search and rescue covers a much larger area, just in training exercises in that
Yeah.
sense. So, how do you? I mean, unless this guy happened to cross those roads, which I don't think he did. I mean, older guy, probably 70s. How do you get lost in that? What I think,
That's
what I
my whole
believe.
question. I mean, you could walk in just about any direction, end up on a road, and walk out.
Mhm. Well, again, this is kind of a wretched area too. I mean, it's steep from the top down. It's steep. There's like I said before, there's areas you can walk out on. You're on a cliff. You know, obviously fall down the cliff. You're gonna look down and you're gonna see someone.
Hmm.
But I mean, there's a lot of a lot of dangerous spots that I imagine you can get lost in, but still, there should have been some shred of evidence of him even being there. And they lost all sight of him within a mile of the trailhead, the Twin Lakes trailhead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you do that? And my honest opinion is it's predation. I mean, I'm of the belief now that we were being pushed around the stalk the entire week because we were the only camp that close to the top.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's another, there's a number of other camps down the bottom and whatever animals had been in that area had been pushed out. I mean, we didn't see but 2 elk the entire week. It was a weird season. For a number of seasons up there, the elk numbers just seemed to just go down and down and down. The deer numbers came up, but the elk just seemed to move out of the area rather quickly. I think it could have been the dry summers and the lack of feed was a big one up there. But I mean, again, like I said,
or a pack or clan of
Bigfoot
came in and just predation, just scared the heck out of them, and they moved. So yeah, that's a total possibility there.
There's a number of possibilities. I mean, I've heard ridiculous tales of Fish and Wildlife going up there and trapping elk and trading them for wild turkeys and white-tailed deer. That's just stupid. I mean, wolves are definitely a possibility. I mean, I'm of the belief there's been wolves in the Cascades for years, and no one's ever done anything to try to prove it.
Yeah.
Until recently, that collared wolf came in and somehow or another made it with an uncollared wolf, and now they have a den up there by Prospect.
Yeah. True.
So nice. again, this whole thing, I think it's just, I believe these are super predators. I mean, at first, in juvenile research, I guess I don't want to say the research, just been something that drives me crazy and have to read into it more. I was of the Christopher Noel belief, big, fluffy forest creatures that mean no harm. Well, you dig deeper, you're looking into like the Honobia, Oklahoma incident. You look into, you keep reading on, especially in this area in Western Oregon. I mean, it's just there's a paper trail of history that says these are not nice.
There is a ton of reports, especially from kind of the south central to south to all the way over to the Oregon coast of a lot of people are like, Mount Hood. I think that there is a much bigger, like you said, paper trail of this thing in this general area of southern part of Oregon than anywhere else in Oregon, actually. I mean, it's huge. I mean, you look at the Klamath Indians for Northern California and Oregon here, nothing but, all kinds of different historical stories, references, information, and whatnot from them. Not to mention you got gold miners all over this place with all of their stories and incidences from their journals and diaries and their sharing of that with local newspapers over the years and stuff like that, especially along the Rogue River, Smith River, Pistol River, all of that. I'm doing one right now, working on one about a guy from Gold Beach who does a lot of he does a fishing, basically fishing guide out in the ocean, but he also goes all the way up the river, Rogue River, there where it dumps in, and he lives up that way, and he's had he said he's actually had a couple really weird incidences, but one of them was actually, he was a visual and a pretty scary thing. It ran him off. So it was pretty interesting. But
right.
Yeah, but that Lemolo Lake, I mean, I never really thought about it because, I just moved up this way just about 7 years ago. And so I've been up to Lemolo Lake quite a few times, but I'm there with like a whole bunch of people at once. So, but this year, I think we're going to go walk around and kind of see if we find any prints or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard, I hear quite a bit of stuff that goes around in that area. I mean, I've even heard something as wild as, one that got too aggressive up at the Diamond Lake Lodge and Resort and getting taken out with a 30-06 and buried under the lime up there somewhere. I mean, I'm not going to ask anyone about it. I'm not going to go digging just because it's something. Like I said, it's something I don't really want to know about, but it's still something that fascinates me and something that I have to accept that's around me.
Yeah, and being out there so often out in the woods for you, it's like, almost like it's kind of like finding footprints or hearing them or going, okay, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable right now. I think there's something pacing me over here. It's like this is pretty much commonplace for you because you spend so much time out there. And
right. Well, I mean, where I live now, though, it's outrageous. It's hilarious. Where I live now, I mean, I don't have an alarm clock. I got logging whistles going off. So I don't, it's not necessarily I'm not going to say it's not a squatchy area, but I mean, I've heard a couple of howls in the past 2 years out here, and I've just
nice.
That's either
tell me a little bit about that.
Or Sasquatch.
You were at home and you heard that?
Oh yeah, I mean, they've pretty much logged both sides of me, and it's just, there's just one, when I get off work, is kick back in the lawn chair and watch the sun go down or something, and just hear that howl off in the background, and listen to that. Never, I mean, just basically I guess they call it the Ohio Howlet, Bobo Fay business. that noise he makes. So I've heard that a couple times out here. I've heard
kind of like a really long, like yell or holler of some kind, like bro.
Yeah, that low, high, low again.
Okay.
I've heard that out here. I've heard that especially up in the area, up North Umpqua there. I've heard it before, and
awesome.
It wasn't close, but it happens, and people who spend a lot of time out there will tell you, oh yeah, it's here, whatever, don't go near it. If you do, shoot it, or don't.
If you do, shoot it.
Yeah,
as far as I'm concerned, I mean, it's kind of like any animal. If you start feeling threatened, and it really is, it's coming after you. Shoot the thing. If not, just walk away. Walk away. Go.
It's more along the lines of this. I don't think, even I don't think they're curious for the purpose of curiosity. I think that, you look at coyotes. Let's take for example a pack of coyotes. You're out. Let's say you're a sheep rancher. You're out, feeding sheep or whatever, and you happen to see a couple coyotes go darting away. Sure, they're curious. You can call it curiosity. I call it reconnaissance. They're scoping you out. They're sizing you up. They're trying to figure you out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, figure 2 weeks from now, you're out feeding sheep and you got 2 or 3 dead lambs. And then you got another dead lamb. And then you more and more and more and more and more. And all of a sudden you got to get a guard dog. They're back to their reconnaissance. 2 dogs come in and distract the guard dog. Then 3 more go and kill into the lamb.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's recon strictly, and I think they do get away with it every now and again.
Yeah, me too. Totally. So awesome, man. That is cool.
As far as everything else goes, I've had a few other instances. Especially that walking. If you're getting that feeling you're walking right into a wall. Especially, I went to high school down in Grants Pass area, Williams, Applegate. Went to Rogue River for
a while.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
I went to Rogue River. I went to Crater for just a few months when I left there, but I was at Crater for a while, and then I went to, or I was at Rogue River, then I went to Crater and Ashland. So, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, I was probably the only kid. I thought it was weird. It was a real culture shock for me going from Glide to, Hidden Valley High School and having a class of 100, or a school population of 100 to a school population.
Hidden Valley is right out there in Merlin, right?
Murphy. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Just south of Grants Pass.
Yeah.
So, and even out there though, I mean, that's basically hard to sit the top of the Siskiyous. There's a lot of stuff that goes on out there. I haven't seen tracks, but I've heard the howls, and I've heard other first-hand accounts of yeah, you live up there. Oh yeah, up on top of that mountain, don't go deer hunting. I run into a big old Sasquatch up there. Scariest thing I've ever seen. So let me close the window here. My neighbor's pulling in with his log truck. Sorry, that's my other long clock. He wakes me up at 2 a.m. every morning.
Nice.
So
right on. So where do you think? Where do you think some of the really awesome little hot spots are around here, though? That Twin Lakes area, Lemolo.
Let's say Twin Lakes, because I don't hunt up there anymore. And you can spook all you want up there. I don't care. I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm going elk hunting for the first time, and the last time I elk hunted was that year. And it's partially panic, and knowing what I know now is kind of keeping me back. This year I'm going elk hunting. I'm gonna not necessarily go up that area. We're gonna be up Fish Creek area, and I know it's a hotbed up there, but the population of Fish Creek goes from 0 to 5,000 for a week at a time during the elk season. I would definitely say the Calf Creek area, Steamboat Creek, is another really thick, brushy area that offers a lot of game.
Cow Creek. I have somebody down there that has had quite a few incidences, and the Cow Creek Indian tribe has always had stories of that there. So.
Yeah, definitely. Illahee Flats is another good one. There's a big burn up on top of Illahee Flats, but it pretty much I believe it borders the Boulder Creek Wilderness area. So that's another. If you want to run into these things, I don't advise it.
No.
I don't advise going looking. But if you happen to have an encounter, I think those are the areas you're going to happen to have an encounter. Other than that, I'm not going to, like I said, I am totally against looking for these things. These things will find you, regardless. Whether you know it or not, they will find you.
I think that we probably run across them more often than we absolutely think. I think a lot of the time that we're out there, they know where we're at. They know that we're there. They pass by silently, or they are there for predation, one of the two.
Oh, definitely. Like I said, as a hunter, whatever my game is, I'm going to chase my game. I'm going to see a deer. I might spot a deer track, but I'm not going to chase down a deer track. I might see a Bigfoot print, and I might disclose it as a boot print. I'm not going to go investigate it. I'm going to go chase the elk print, the deer tracks or whatever. If I was looking for someone, I might find more Bigfoot tracks.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. Like I said, they do know. I think they're going to have a good tab on us and where we're at, and whether they want to avoid us or they want one of us for breakfast, they'll have it, or they'll try to have it.
Yeah. It's just kind of nice to know that it's like the husband and wife up there at we're camping up at Lemolo Lake and had that incident that I had recorded for them. That was kind of interesting, and this kind of backs up the fact that what they were telling me was pretty spot on. Just because now here's a guy, experienced hunter, been up there, around there, and it's almost commonplace for you to, find some sort of evidence, see evidence, or hear something.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
So, I mean, I was living up at the top of San Souci here, where that's at, I suppose, in Roseburg. And never really experienced anything up there except for there was a couple weird broken trees once. I mean, they were, those ones, they're about maybe 5 inches, 6 inches round, and they kind of sit in the middle of they're like newer trees, but they're tall. I mean, these things can be like, 11, 12 feet tall. But these things were snapped off at about 8 feet up. And they were both snapped. And you can tell they were snapped, just torn right off. And they were laying down right next to right in front, going the same way, same direction with each other, parallel. The tops of them were. And it was just odd to see. It was weird. I found a little brush kind of built like little hut thing that was probably like 5 by 8 or something like that. That was just like thrown over leaves over some trees that had fallen. It just crawl space and everything. It was weird. So
I will be. I'm I'll be honest. I run into that a lot. Like I said, I'm not a road hunter. I'm definitely not a clear cut, a clear cut or a unit hunter. I'm going to look for the biggest, tallest, steepest stands of timber, and I'm going to run down, and hopefully get a deer on the way down. Because I don't
Nice.
want to pack it back out from the bottom. But like I said, when you get down the bottoms of those big stands, especially in like real deep canyons on both sides, Cascade, Coast Range, you do
Mm-hmm.
run into those stick structures a lot. And
Yeah.
there's some of those areas that are pretty thick, and you can pretty well say, yeah, that's nothing.
Yeah,
But there's
it's.
other areas.
I was just saying, it's not. It's happened to me at least 2 or 3 times in my life where, other than the
Mm-hmm.
experience we had up at Elderberry Flats. I'm sure you've heard of that
Right.
one. There's been a couple other incidences in my life where, just out and about in the woods, and you just, it's an overwhelming sense of fear.
Yeah.
It's like it's like fight or flight. You just get that sense, and you go. And I'm
Yeah,
not
you're not
afraid
gonna.
of cougars. I'm not afraid of black bear because good night of living, really. I'm not afraid of these things because they're more afraid of me. So whatever that fear is, it has nothing to do with a cat trying to stalk me. Has nothing to do with anything like that. It's something else. You just get that
Yeah,
sense.
you do. You certainly do, and you get that sense. You don't push it.
Mm-mm.
You don't push the envelope because I've pushed as far as I possibly can take it, and I was almost in tears running back, and I'm a big scary guy, and I'm 6'1". I'm 260, 260 pounds. I got arms. I got fists. I'm not scared of anything. I got a gun to back me up most of the time.
Yeah, and when you feel that kind of fear and you're like that, I mean, and you're in that position with a gun, you're a bigger guy, I mean, you can throw down pretty fast. I mean, it's just like, it's not something that you're used to.
Right.
It's
Right.
just,
And
could you
yeah, I mean,
hear anything at all?
I can't say recently.
No, I
I
meant
mean, it's
whenever
just everything.
that time where you just
Oh,
got that. Yeah, did you hear anything?
nothing at all.
Just the fear.
Nothing at all. I mean, I didn't even hear at that point when I was running back to the truck, running off that spur road. That's when I heard brush snapping. Keeping pacing me, keeping up with me,
So
or
you did.
if not a little
You
further ahead of
heard
me.
brush snapping and like walking, pacing, like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Cool.
Anyways, but like I said, it's this whole area. No matter where you go, I've heard of stuff on, especially on the Coos Bay Wagon Road. If you're, you got a wife, wife and kids want to take it for a trip. There's some amazing waterfalls. It's pretty good chance you might run into something out there. Even
Yeah.
that's another hot spot you hear about all the time.
Where's that at?
Coos Bay Wagon Road. It's literally it's a paved road and then a gravel road and then a paved road again.
Oh, okay.
It goes. You just head out a looking glass and just keep driving.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've been out that way. Awesome.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're coming up here on kind of the end of this, but thanks for sharing with us some of those areas and some of your. Basically, I would say this is more of kind of an expert call of sharing some information about, to just stop and look around while we're out here. Be real careful. Go out here with all senses attached to you when you're out hunting or doing whatever. Even if you're out here trying to be the squatcher or the Bigfooter, go out here with your head on your shoulders. You're going out here with something that could take a guy who's 6'4" and has got a rifle. So if something can throw some fear into somebody like that, then keep your head about you, keep your wits about you when you're out there.
Please carry a gun.
Yeah, carry a gun. Definitely carry a gun.
I laugh when I hear the encounters about the bear spray, and I'm like, seriously, they'd probably just use that as a marinade.
I think that bear spray can give you enough time for flight. just
That's
because
it.
of what
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it can give you time for flight, but if you're just going to stand there and spray it and then try to hide, you don't hide. You leave.
Get
You
out of there.
run to
Yeah.
the nearest city. You don't stop until you get there. And that's pretty
Yeah.
much what I think about bear spray. It gives you that flight capability to get out of the situation quickly. So that's
Yeah.
about it.
I already have a gun or two. I don't need to buy bear spray. So.
Yeah, well, there's some people out here that they don't like
Right.
guns. I get that, and I understand
Yeah.
that, but you still
Oh,
love the woods. Carry bear spray at least. It'll
yeah.
give you some sort of edge to get out of the situation. So that's pretty
Right.
awesome. All right,
Yeah.
man. Well, thanks a lot, Jeremy. Hang on to the call real quick. I'm going to end this real quick, but hang on for just a moment, and then talk to you for just a moment more. So, for those of you
Sounds good.
also who are listening in on PacWest, don't forget throughout May, I'm going to be giving away a little kids Bigfoot book by Bigfoot here. Lock Your Doors, Country Folk by Linda Newton Perry. So don't forget that. And if you want to subscribe to PacWestBigfoot.com, you can get over there, PacWestBigfoot.com, becoming a part of the clan, and get yourself entered to win a nice little free giveaway I do every single month. So I want to say thanks again, Jeremy, and to the rest of you out there in the PacWest Bigfoot land, God bless.